That's who some of you are defending. That is the person.
By the way, never address anything I actually said. Just show me doing it and be like, all of your arguments are invalid, bro. You did a loop.
Thing against basically Hassan, but yet that's what he's doing. One more time, just so you can see. And by the way, I'm not ignoring any of the arguments that he presented. There's just no argument. We already know Hassan's a socialist.
Isn't even talking about Hassan. Like, how is he even connected to him? It's like, bro, yeah, he's a Hassan fan. He's a Hassan fan, and this is basically what's happening in his audience right now. Why would anyone accuse them of being extreme?
Okay, let's watch this.
Here he is. Previously, we talked about Hassan was like, oh, you're not on Twitter. You ran away. Well, here's Twitter. Okay, here's Hassan on Twitter, the app that he spends all day on. This country is so cooked, man. A retweet from this account, Noctis Draven. Let's take a look at this account that he... wait. Oh, it's the next link. Let's take a look here. At
What a good guy.
At the account he retweeted here on X. Give it a signal boost there, bud. Here's a video of all the Jews at the New York Times. All the... Wait, what happened? All the Jews at universities. Look at all of the Jews in Biden's appointments.
Once again, not to be pedantic here, but Ethan has played fast and loose with like his tethers to reality. So we do need to mention like he's putting Israeli flags there. I guess you can say that means Jewish, but and then also they say like the Jew obsession. But I guess is he labeling them Jews? Whatever. It doesn't even matter. I don't know what he's proving here. Hassan retweeted this guy that made like a weird video pointing at if it's actually like pointing out all the Jews, that is bad. I mean, I agree with Ethan there. But if he's trying to show that like Hassan's anti-Semitic because he retweeted a guy's tweet and then a year ago he posted something about how many Jews Biden has, yeah, that's great evidence that Hassan is anti-Semitic.
Hey, you know what? You're saving everything, bro.
Once again, he says Hassan is anti-Semitic, but he doesn't actually have any evidence of it. It's like his evidence is that Hassan played a Houthi propaganda music video and Hassan called like the Jews that are actually attacking aid trucks inbred. Even though Ethan's called Jewish people being inbred, he's called Jewish people inbred for like years now. So, okay, whatever.
This one is unbelievable. This guy Xander on TikTok. Oh man, I'm always surprised by the level to which these people will stoop. Well, and then it's not just that; it's the internet's reception to it.
One more time.
Now, before you watch this, let me tell you, 150,000 likes on this. Okay, and it has let's see here, 1.3 million views. Okay, now you guys watch the show, so you know. Let's see.
One more time. That's who some of you are defending. That is the person who decided to go on this whole anti-radical Islamic thing against basically Hassan. But yeah, that's what he's doing, right? That's what he's doing. One more time, just so you can see. Ethan has already been down the alt-right pipeline. He is becoming a master of it. Dare I say he's becoming the CEO of the company.
I am the CEO of the alt-right.
By the way, I'm not ignoring any of the arguments that he presented. There's just no argument. We already know Hassan's a socialist. Hello.
What does that have to... Dude, these people, let me tell you, they are so comfortable telling Jewish people what's the correct way to act and respond to anti-Semitism. They're so comfortable telling me what is the right way, a Jewish Israeli man, how I can interact with anti-Semitism.
Okay, and I haven't seen this, but that is a humorous response from Ethan. So this guy like plays a 0.5 second clip of Ethan sig hailing. That's a dumb thing to do, right? When you're referring to Elon Musk sig hailing, and the way that you react to Elon Musk sig hailing is like, oh well, he did this and then like he did that. Is like, is that sig hailing? That's kind of a dumb thing to do no matter who you are on the internet, because of course it's going to be clipped out of context. But instead of just saying it was clipped out of context, Ethan says, who are you to tell me, a Jewish man, how I should react to anti-Semitism? He's like, if I... Like, what is this response, bro? Just say it was clipped out of context and move on. But instead, Ethan says, no, I'm Jewish, so if I want to sig hail, I get to sig hail. Like, that is a very strange way to come at this, dude. Like, I watched the context of that. He was clearly being like, he was clearly just imitating Elon Musk and being like, oh yeah, this is quite obviously a sig hail. Here, let me show you. And then he does it. And the crew's like, don't do that, Ethan. That's stupid. It's like, okay. But now this guy's calling him out on it. He's like, no, I am Jewish. I can do what I want when it comes to anti-Semitism.
Rationalize it, explain it, and joke about it. Imagine I told this dude, hey, bro, you need to stop saying the N-word because me as a white Jewish guy, it makes me uncomfortable. That's literally what he's telling me. And instead of people being like, you're insane, he gets millions of views, 150,000 likes, and comments like, Ethan Klein's a grifter. I still feel sorry for all the foolish people who worship a mediocre mouthpiece. Wow, he crashed out for real. Why did he do that? Ethan Klein still exists, unreal. Bro, he's been on the enemy side. Like, bro, I'm a Jewish Israeli guy. And also the context of it was that I was analyzing.
Also, when we talk about Ethan in the alt-right pipeline, I don't think he's like conservative. I don't think he's alt-right. He's definitely a liberal. However, we do need to talk about how liberalism kind of paves the way for fascism. We've seen this over and over again. Liberals will basically look at the extremism of left extremism, in quotes, of like leftists and socialist people and take stances against them. I mean, we've seen how in every single election, we get more and more conservative to the point now where Donald Trump wants to completely dismantle the United States government. When after every election that the Democrats lose, they think that we need to go more conservative, that is liberals paving the road for fascism. And it's basically like them attacking progressive people, right? Oh, we went too progressive. We need to be more reactionary now. We're in a reactionary swing of this country.
I was in the middle of calling out Elon Musk for doing
raising alarm bells about exactly the thing that he's trying to connect you to, which he's well aware of and that's why the clip is about a half a second long.
Oh, and then like specifically for Ethan, he's spent the majority of his content criticizing progressive people. Of course, that's going to attract Republicans to his show. So if he's going to be like, oh, I'm not a conservative, what are you talking about? Well, maybe you should take a look at the effective output of your channel. And the effective output of your channel has been on progressive people for the last like 6 months. So yeah, your effective output is conservative. Okay, I'm sorry. Like that is the type of content you're putting out is conservative content, and you are going to attract conservative viewers.
There is no way that you can watch that segment and come out of it thinking that you are somehow endorsing or purposely doing a salute because that's something that you believe in. It's blatantly and obviously disingenuous. This shit blew my mind. Like, this is insane and like dangerous. Like, he is going out of his way to slander you as a neo-Nazi. Like that can get you hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
if you're gonna critique Ethan, at least try to come from an honest place.
Yeah,
like,
no, this is just like so
nothing.
Blatantly disingenuous.
It goes exactly against
like,
what he's been talking about for like months. So, that's crazy.
I mean, it's a lot of
psychotic behavior. Like what?
But it's not even the fact that someone made this video. I'm not surprised that someone made such a dumb video, right? It's the reaction to it. 150,000 likes, millions of views, and everyone's like, yeah, Ethan's a not. Oh yeah, Ethan's just doing more salutes. That's the information that, you know.
I mean, bro, Ethan, you are literally in favor of an ethno-state to keep all Jewish people separate from non-Jewish people. I would say that's kind of like something that Nazis endorse, dude. So yeah, you're not too far apart from the the view of Jewish people. Hitler wanted Jewish people to leave Germany, right? He didn't want to kill them at first. He just wanted to deport them all. Yeah. Denims' reaction to the continent nuke. Okay, let's watch this.
We saw that one. Denims. Get a load of this dumbass. Here's a Hassan orbiter Denims. You guys might not know who she is because she's like mostly irrelevant, except she was the main freebooter of when I posted the content nuke. She had like 45,000 live viewers.
For the watch party.
For the watch party that she threw.
The watch party.
She posted, there was posts on Snark and on Hassan's subreddit saying, go watch her instead of giving Ethan views. She even said it at the end of her video, which is not great if you're trying to avoid committing copyright infringement. It's not great.
Bad move.
It's not a great look to do that. And it'd be a shame if somebody was, well, it's just not great.
It's not a good move.
No.
What the fuck are they talking about?
For the watch party that she threw.
The watch party.
She posted, there was posts on Snark and on Hassan's subreddit saying, go watch her instead of giving Ethan views. She even said it at the end of her video, which is not great if you're trying to avoid committing copyright infringement. It's not great.
Bad move.
It's not a great look to do that. And it'd be a shame if somebody was, well, it's just not great.
It's not a good move.
Bro, you have nothing to say. It's not great, says it 5 more times, thinks he's made a point. Dude, saying go watch this other person reacting to their content so that you don't give them views isn't saying that they're stealing your copyright, okay? You need to make the argument that they weren't reacting hard enough to it, right? It doesn't matter how many views they get. Copyright infringement is copyright infringement. You should know this, Ethan. You've like stood up for reacting to videos in your own stupid little fucking podcast that you do. And now you're saying that, oh yeah, reacting to content is not great because they said, watch me react to it instead of giving Ethan views. like, to me, and I know this might be reaching a little bit, but to me this feels
Still advice Denims for
this feels like Ethan being a little bit butthurt that his content nuke didn't get as many views as he thought it would. Let's see how many views it's sitting at. Last time I checked, it was at about 2 million, 2.5 million. I think Ethan said something like, yeah, this nuke is probably going to get like 5 million views. So, 2.4 million. Well, whatever. Top comment is now, why is nobody in the comments talking about the actual content of the video? I feel like I'm going insane. Well, I think they deleted a lot of comments, but
future.
And then
2.5 million in 5 days. That's pretty good, right? I think that's about half of what Ethan thought he'd be getting.
Hassan, content nuke from Ethan Klein. Everybody get in here. 45,000 views. She usually gets like, I think, less than 1,000. What does she usually get? You can look it up on that stream.
Oh my God, who gives a why are you acting like that? Oh wait, what did Ethan say about her? What was the context of the button?
What does she usually get? You can look it up on that stream. What's funny is that...
Oh, so he's talking about Denims, says, what's funny is that, and then it cuts out because he said some up shit.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, and then once again, she is an ex-Destiny orbiter. In fact, it's rumored, I think I'm pretty sure that they had a sexual relationship too. So, I never fucked Destiny. Say what you will about me, but I never fucked Destiny.
You're saying that wasn't your in the leak?
Not my buddy. Not this. Yeah, Denims, ex-Destiny orbiter. Very good. Very good. Oh, from Believe All Women to Pixar didn't happen.
Okay, if you have a clip of Denims that you're going to dunk on, it's just weird to me that he talks about so much how he's like, oh, she never gets views, but she got a lot of views here. Isn't that a little bit suspect? Maybe she's doing some copyright infringement. And then he's talking about her being like a partner to Destiny. All right, Ethan. Okay.
The vast majority of people, if not all, who were murdered on the spot.
Here's the thing, though. We are believing the women who come forward and talk about their abuse or experiences. I'm not going to believe Biden when he tells me that everybody's getting... That's insane. You realize that that's insane, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Gam Goldstein Almog was kidnapped from her home on October 7th by Hamas terrorists and was held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg, Screams Before Silence. In new footage, Agam reveals that and was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
Hassan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please, go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it What's happen. The problem, fucking bitch?
Oh, I paused it at a bad time. So Ethan thinks this is a dunk? Because why does he think it's a dunk? I mean, Hassan has literally never said that didn't happen at all, right? At first, the claims were that every Hamas soldier was coming in with like the mission to assault people in Israel. And then that's been disproven. And of course, there was violence that happened, and especially with the hostages, there's that happened. Hassan never said that. He never said otherwise. And I think Ethan's really getting him on the worst possible soundbite in terms of like worse for Ethan, because Hassan is literally saying that does not justify gender. And I don't think that Ethan disagrees with it, but by using this clip, it makes it seem like he does disagree with it. And I think that's a big issue, right? I think that is some really bad content to be putting out to almost 2.5 million people when you're saying that since Hamas did violence against their female captives, or at least one female captive, and probably more, saying that isn't an excuse to them is dumb. You are effectively saying, they should kind of get right. It's just not a good hill to die on if you are Ethan Klein. If you're trying to attack Hassan, I think there are other more damning clips where Hassan laughs when Kamala Harris says all of this that happened on October 7th. Then Hassan's like, oh my God, like he rolls his eyes, right? I think that could have been a better clip to get than literally saying that violence doesn't justify. And Ethan's pointing that out like it's some kind of W.
Out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg, Screams Before Silence. In new footage, Agam reveals that assault and was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
Hassan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please, go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it What's happen. The problem, fucking bitch? Did you not hear what they said? You respect women? Why are you calling them liars? How cool is that? Say something. You just said you believe victims, but here it's a victim right now, a woman, telling you this happened, and you're smiling? What's funny about that? And each week there's more stories coming out. There's a UN report that concludes it happened.
Doesn't matter.
But Hassan needs a kit from a mutilated...
Wait, wasn't this disproven? Was this clip from her disproven? Is he going to play the clip of her...
This clip of her first... How do you disprove firsthand testimony? Like, this should be in a museum. Okay, first of all, she's a shame on you. F you.
Okay, all right. And Hassan's a misogynistic one for saying Ethan cried like a little, but he calls that woman that worked for Twitch, and now he's calling Denims just a like over and over again. Anyway, this isn't like the right tact to take. Like, obviously, if you know this specific example and the person like recanted their testimony, then maybe you can say, oh yeah, I read an article about this specific person and they said that it was disproven. But I think it's safe to assume that hostages under the control of Hamas did experience while in the care of Hamas. Like, that's not an inconceivable thing to say. However, like, you should just repeat what Hassan was saying here and say that even though this woman experienced, that doesn't justify the. And Ethan Klein, due to the way he edited this video and is presenting this section, is making it seem like he disagrees with that fact. And thus, you can then say, Ethan Klein's editing in this section of the video makes it seem like he thinks justifies the elimination of Palestinians altogether. Okay, so I don't think Denims really like came at this with the right rhetorical strategy. And if she's going to say that this one woman's testimony was disproven or recanted, you should have evidence to back that up. You shouldn't just say, oh, well, wasn't this disproven? Because if you're trying to say that wasn't this disproven, then your position effectively becomes no happened on October 7th, and it seems like you're arguing that position because you think that that would change the dynamic for you. So you should be able to accept claims of and still say this doesn't change the dynamic for me.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it happen. What's the problem? Did you not hear what they said? You respect women? Why are you calling them liars? How cool is that? Say something. You just said you believe victims, but here it's a victim right now, a woman telling you this happened, and you're smiling? How do you disprove firsthand testimony? She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her, and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually while being in captivity. Nothing to say? Nothing? You're not going to acknowledge what just happened?
I will acknowledge what just happened. This woman who you claimed was continually in captivity did not claim to have been. In fact, when she was released from captivity, she had this to say.
ואז אחד מהם היה צעיר, עשה איתי הורדת דם, אבל הוא הביא מגבת, כדי לא, כי אסור לו לגעת בי. אישה היא מאוד, אישה היא קדושה שם.
Later, she did a different interview for a documentary, which is what Ethan put on the screen. In that interview, she says that at least half the hostages she spoke to said they were. At no point did she claim that anything had happened to her. I take issue with other people manipulating these women's horrific experiences to fit their narratives. I've said countless times that in any military, paramilitary, or attack, there will unfortunately be. I have to believe that there was on October 7th. I will also always believe victims who come forward to talk about their. I stand by that. But you don't care about victims, Ethan, because if you did, you wouldn't make up lies just to push your anti-Muslim Arab bias.
How dare you? You say you support women and you sit here and you giggle and laugh at this girl who was, and then immediately you say, I believe all women, and say, oh, wasn't she lying? Like, go to a museum, put this there.
Okay, so I love this performative outrage from Ethan Klein here. Just keep in mind, this is the guy that when Rudy Giuliani said Palestinians are taught at 2 years old how to kill an Israeli, he's like, that's pretty spicy. So literally like making a joke about Rudy Giuliani justifying the genocide of an entire group of people down to 2-year-olds, right? Ethan Klein's like laughing about that. So this is completely performative outrage. I really don't care about Ethan being outraged at anything because he's literally used genocide as a punchline in his content nuke on Hassan. So I'm not going to give any kind of credence to when Ethan becomes performatively outraged at all.
This is the caliber. This is what's happening in Hassan's community. This is what it is.
Shame on you, KMA.
How can I live in this? We're not. One more time. I can't believe how quickly leftists go from believe all women to Pixar didn't happen. The vast majority of people, if not all, who are
just once again, man, I would like more substantive criticism from Ethan here than just simply saying, oh, she smiled. Like, dude, just address her response. You can like point out that she smiled. That's fine. But then you should also explain what she's doing and like why what she's doing is wrong. Maybe. But once again, it just seems like Ethan's extremely being hateful here.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay, good. Let's get all high and mighty, and let's go ahead and question the narrative. Well, I just don't believe Biden. If it was firsthand accounts, I'd believe them. Go ahead and say that shit.
We are believing the women who come forward and talk about their sexual abuse or experience.
I love the righteous indignation. She would never do that.
I'm not going to believe Biden when he tells me that everybody's getting. That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
You
isn't
realize
it?
that that's insane,
It's
right?
so crazy. Her first instinct being wasn't that disproven. Imagine that. Imagine someone who says they believe women and support women of, and your first thought after being disproven is that this is lying, and actually continue to stream with a straight face and pretend to be progressive. This is why this whole thing
thanks,
is so
Spencer.
hard for Israelis to process it.
What? Okay, so he's saying this is why it's hard for Israelis to process it? Is he talking about American progressives' reactions to Zionist propaganda is what's making it hard for Israelis to process October 7th? Because I don't really think that's true at all. I think the difficulty in processing October 7th for Israelis, I don't think they care about Denims. I really don't think people in Israel care about what Denims has to say about them. I don't even think they care about what Hassan has to say about them. I think Ethan cares about what Denims and Hassan is saying because he is a Zionist living in America surrounded by progressive people like this, both like physically close to them and also online he's close to them. I think the reason why Israelis are struggling to get past October 7th is because they've been in perpetual war since October 7th, and their government hasn't done anything to actually try to get hostages returned. Like, the only reason that they have any hostages returned is because of the United States. There's stories coming out about how Israeli soldiers are unfortunately ending their own lives due to the untreated PTSD of the October 7th invasion and also the subsequent wars and just horrors that they've been experiencing in Gaza and in Lebanon. So yes, I think that violence is not a good solution to healing from violence, okay? I'll just say that. So that was a bit of a self-report from Ethan there, saying that this Denims is the reason why Israelis are having a hard time getting over October 7th. It's funny.
Almog was kidnapped from
Right. Hannibal Directive is a big reason of why it's like not good to be a hostage if you are in the vicinity of Israel.
Held captive for 51 days. Though only 17 years old, she witnessed the murder of her father and sister on that day and is now speaking out about what she witnessed in Gaza as well in a new documentary by Sheryl Sandberg.
Pretty amazing to be immediately disproven. She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually while being in captivity. Nothing to say? Nothing? You're not going to acknowledge what just happened? She will, to say that she's lying. This is a disgusting human being. She's a vile piece of shit.
In new footage, Agam reveals that sexual was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
Hassan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please. It's funny. I go, Hassan, go ahead and call her a liar. Here's a first-hand account. She's like, hold my beer, or whatever that meme is. Hold my kit. I'll do it. God damn it. Somebody's got to call her a liar. I'll step up to the challenge. I will accept this task. This is lying. Go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if it happened on October 7th.
Extremely egalitarian views from Ethan Klein. This is like counter number 4. The reason I'm doing this extremely petty thing is because he got so mad when Hassan said that he cried like a and he says that Hassan is misogynistic. It's just like, dude, every accusation is every accusation is a confession. It's just funny, man.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses. She thinks it's funny. Imagine hearing that and smiling, even as pro-Palestine as you can possibly be. What's funny about a 17-year-old, an innocent 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her, kidnapped for 50 days, and continually in captivity?
So just remember that Ethan has said that the settlers in the West Bank are valid military targets. So if that 17-year-old and her family was in the West Bank, Ethan Klein would be in support of that entire family getting murdered in front of the 17-year-old. So we just need to keep this into perspective. There is only one person on this screen that is in support of violence done against innocent people. And you can say that like settlers are innocent or not, but either way, they're not actually like military at all. And I think that when we're talking about settlers, we should just kind of talk about. And in order to reduce the violence as much as possible, maybe don't say that people in the West, like Israelis in the West Bank, are valid military targets, because that would just cause more to happen. Maybe you should just say that everyone gets equal rights, right? But Ethan's like, no, we need to have an ethno-state, we need to have apartheid, and in order to do that, I think that violence should be done upon the West Bank settlers.
funny about that? Because she's Israeli? She's 17 years old. She was born there. Her family was murdered in front of her. And people like her and Hassan and everyone in his orbit can't spare one shred of decency, one shred of humanity. She's going to smile at that.
Most of who were in hiding
Look how happy
heard
she
or
is.
saw it happen. And each week there's more stories coming out. There's a UN report that concludes it happened.
Doesn't matter.
But Hassan needs a kit from a mutilated...
Wait, wasn't this disproven? Was this clip from her disproven? Is he going to play the clip of her saying anything?
What do you need her to say? What is she going to say? Oh, I was lying. What do you expect her to say? I said I was, but I was lying. What is it you're expecting to hear exactly? Maybe the onus should be on you to call a survivor a liar to try to figure out if it's real or not. And again, how do you even disprove?
This is funny. I mean, you did clip her out of context. Maybe she did, but sure, Denims did a good job of actually being responsible in her stream.